What's up everyone, this is CoyneDawg here with another GTA video. So in this video we've got the part 2 of the head-to-head of the Nero versus the Itali GTB. So this is the situational testing rather than just around a track. So the first test we've got is the stunt tube riding. So basically it's just a short section of stunt tube to see how these cars handle in the tubes. I was really interested to see the results of these because on a couple of weeks ago I did a video about how to win more stunt tube races. And I used the RE7B as an example, and the Itali GTB Custom it was in that video, and people were commenting saying you know, it's nothing to do with the size of the vehicle, it's all about whether it's four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, etc. So in this video we've got two four-wheel drive vehicles. Obviously one is quite a big vehicle and the other one is a smaller vehicle. So first we've got the Nero, and the one thing I'll say about the Nero, everyone told me this was like the best in tubes, but in my own experience it's quite easy to make it skid around a little bit in the tubes. You've got to be really smooth with it, as I always try to be in this testing, because obviously you don't want to be skidding around, and it was a lot easier to skid the Nero in the tubes than it was the Itali GTB. So you've seen the Nero one, and now we'll do the Itali GTB, which as I said is also four-wheel drive, but is slightly smaller in terms of the size of the vehicle. The Nero is a pretty big car, to be honest. And my theory was that the size of the vehicle certainly had an effect on how well they went through the tubes, and the test results would suggest that potentially there's something in that. So the Itali GTB was about quarter of a second quicker through the tubes than the Nero Custom. So the next test we've got is the off-road circuit. So this is a short off-road track to test a vehicle's off-road ability. So we've obviously got two four-wheel drive vehicles here, so they both should perform pretty well in these conditions. So first up we've got the Nero Custom. So what I will say about the Nero Custom is it was quite, I don't know, had some strange handling characteristics for off-road, which I didn't see in the Tempesta last week. Obviously they're both four-wheel drive, but this, I don't know, there was something about it. However, once I got a good handle on it, it was actually quite good off-road. The back end slides around the corners nicely, which you need on this circuit. Obviously on a wider circuit you don't really want the back end sliding, but you've not got room on this little track to take proper racing lines, so having a slidey back end helps a lot on this this tight circuit. But yeah, it performed really well. So the lap time obviously will reflect that, and then the second one that we had was the Itali GTB. So I actually expected this to be really good for the off-road, because obviously it's a lot smaller than the Nero and this is a tight little circuit. I thought, you know, it'd be nimble and handle the track quite well, but to be honest it didn't really. It's got a bit of a strange problem, and that is that it's got too much grip off-road. Which sounds a bit odd, but let me explain. So you'll see as we're going around these corners that the back end doesn't really slide in the same way as the Nero Custom. If you go back to the Nero Custom video you'll see what I mean, and because this track is so tight you really need that loose back end to slide around the corners to get the speed and the lap time that you want. So I was a little bit surprised with the results for this, to be honest, and as you can see there, so the Nero Custom was, call it 0.7 of a second quicker, which is actually even quicker than the Tempesta of the previous week. So that's the fastest off-road supercar we've tested so far. And then the last test we've got is the 1 mile curb boost. So this is basically, I don't measure the actual time of the 1 mile drag. What I look at here is the improvement between not using curb boosting and using curb boosting, because different vehicles will improve differently in terms of the way they react to bumps. So the way this test is run is I don't do any curb boost until I get to the first checkpoint, and then I do 2 curb boosts between each checkpoint from there on in. So on the left there you've obviously got no curb boosting at all, and on the right there you've got the curb boost, and you can see how big the gap is there. So there was quite a sizable improvement on the Nero between curb boosting and not curb boosting. And then we've got the same with the Itali GTB. So I wasn't really sure how well this was going to perform on this, because in the circuit testing I did, I found that the Itali GTB didn't handle bumps very well at all, and I have a theory that if the car doesn't handle bumps very well, that it perhaps doesn't actually improve very much from curb boosting either, and that actually proved to be the case in this testing. So as you can see here, the Nero improved by 0.8 of a second, but we only got about half a second improvement on the Itali GTB. So overall that produces a winner for the Nero Custom. So that won the last round and this round as well. So a very good car, probably my favourite car overall, and I definitely recommend it to you guys. So thanks very much for watching. I'll probably be back again, maybe not tomorrow, maybe the day after, with another GTA video.